All right, today I'm telling you how to use solo sessions to make you into an absolute weapon for when you actually get to go multiplayer with your girl. If you're a gamer, you probably noticed before how better you get if you regularly practice in, practice tool or the range or whatever name it has in your respective game before you go into a competitive game, right? And the more consistent you get with this sort of warm up, this sort of solo training, the better the competitive games become, or at least the more consistent they become. Then let me just tell you how my first multiplayer game went and how it inspired this solo session training that I'm going to tell you about. My first multiplayer game was with a professional, I won't lie. And by professional, I think you know what I mean. I was 23 and I was a bit obsessed with it. Like I kept studying it and I didn't really know how it felt for real. So I decided, I'm going to go and do this just to try, just to see what it feels like. I wanted to know what the hype was about, right? All these people just obsessed with it. I wanted to try that multiplayer mode. And turns out, because of training I had done before, which I've talked about in another video, I already had insane stamina, which is good. But one thing I didn't have was enough practice, enough knowledge about the stuff that really works. I just mashed buttons to try and figure out combos that I had learned about to some extent, but I just didn't have enough knowledge yet. So at the end of it, I knew she didn't have any mana release, if you know what I mean. Stamina-wise, I was good, to be honest. I didn't even have a mana release myself. Like at the end of it, she was like, "Do you want me to do a game job, a joystick job?" And I just told her, "Nah, it's fine. I don't need to." And then she said, "I like your style." And I swear she said this, okay? Word for word. I know it sounds like one of those Reddit, everyone clapped and then everyone clapped story, but it's not. Like it actually happened because I don't need to lie about this shit. It's not a flex to go see a pro, if you know what I mean. So trust me on this. So I had the stamina, but I was shit in terms of the technique. It didn't bum me out that much like a lot of people tend to say. Like a lot of people have this ego about it. But I knew it was my first time doing multiplayer, so it wasn't that big a deal. But since then, I've discovered so many more things that I realized I didn't know shit in the first place. I thought I knew what I was doing, but I would just see angles and combos and all that stuff, but I didn't know why they worked. And that's when I discovered a dude who knew way more about gaming than anyone I've ever seen before. He didn't just teach about angles, techniques, and combos that just seemed right. He also explained why they seemed right. And the explanation just told you, okay, this stuff is the real deal. That's how we should be gaming instead of inspiring ourselves from everything we see on Game Hub. And I saw videos, okay? Like he could give his teammates the biggest mana releases I've ever seen. Like the reactions were crazy. And it wasn't performative like it is on Game Hub. You know what I mean? It was volunteers who just went there just to see if it worked. And it did. And it changed their lives sometimes. And when I mean volunteers, I mean women volunteers who wanted to see if the combos worked. And so he did the combos and it worked on them and they had crazy mana releases. And contrary to what you might believe, it wasn't like most other things that are recommended that is about, being super fast, being super performative, being super, hard. It didn't seem like anything out of the ordinary. It was just knowledge and consistency. But I couldn't try it out right away. So I thought to myself, how could I practice this new knowledge without having to play multiplayer? And after thinking for a while, I came up with 3 steps that would make me absolutely OP once I genuinely go multiplayer and practice it. The first one is simply to use a flashlight, which we will now call a simulator. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. I'm probably going to have to make it more in detail in a PDF that I'm going to put in the description most likely. But so far, you're going to have to follow me here. If you don't understand it, just follow me and you'll see later. So you use a flashlight with the light, right? That we're going to call a simulator for now. To simulate multiplayer and get used to the new sensitivity it brings. Because trust me, it's going to differ. It's going to be quite different from what you've been doing so far with your joystick. Second is going to be to use your simulator and try to aim for the G point and the A point. You might know about the G point, but the A point is it's not as well known. It's basically on the same wall as the G point in the game, but it's further. And don't worry, you don't need to be a big joystick to make it happen. It's not that deep, but I will go into more details again in the PDF. I can't go into too much details here. So, you know, like the gaming metaphor can only take us this far in terms of explanation. But that's it. You practice grinding those two G and A points regularly with the simulator. And because those 2 points are the best points you can stimulate when you're inside of the cave in the game, of course. I'm cringing at myself with all these metaphors. I'm sorry. And finally, 3, practicing to take it slow from now on. What that means is you don't need insane stimulation from the game anymore, from the solo sessions. You got to try and lower the strength and speed at which you were doing it so far. And you want to start laying off of Game Hub, because the more stimulation you need to feel something, and the more stimulation you need in your head to feel something, the worse it's going to be once you actually try those combos and those angles and those techniques in a multiplayer mode. I know it might be complicated to figure out right now, but again, I'm going to explain more details in the PDF. But those are the 3 steps. You use a simulator just to get used to it. You go for the G and A points and practice grinding on those. And then you lower the speed and strength, and you stop watching Game Hub as much. You can still do the solo sessions, but without it. So after doing this whole training and, you know, refining it and improving at it, and again, still today trying to improve it, I can say confidently that I know what works. And I know what's gonna help my teammate get the best fucking mana releases ever. I'm still missing a lot of practical multiplayer experience though. And that's why I decided to prepare myself physically for it. So if you want some training to become an absolute multiplayer machine, watch this right now. And for the clear way of training without the whole gaming lingo that I just put in the video, as I've said, you just go in the description, check the PDF. It's free. I don't need your email. I don't need anything, okay? Just get the PDF, enjoy the knowledge, and train well. Oh, by the way, I'm Idriss, and I'm just a guy on a path of learning how to be better at everything I'm interested in. I'm not a guru. I'm not an expert. I'm just on an adventure, and you're welcome to share the journey with me. And don't forget, work on the inside, and the outside will follow. Take care, man.